Okay, think fast. What is the difference between China's Xi Jinping and Mao Zedong? Well, nothing now. A secret meeting of the top hierarchy of the Communist Party in China, essentially saying they're the same type of super powerful, generation-changing figure, which means, I guess, Claudia Rosett of the Independent Women's Forum, the foreign policy fellow, he's in power a lot longer. What did you make of that?
He's busy having himself even more firmly installed as dictator for life. And unfortunately, Neil, his life's plan includes turning China into the dominant power and development model for the entire planet.
What do you see happening now?
I think it's a real threat. I mean, we're seeing all these articles right now sort of saying, well, China's a big problem, but it also has internal problems. It's, maybe this will sort of dissipate or something else will get in the way. And that's not actually at all what we're facing. What we're facing is a situation much more like the 1930s. We should be worried about the militarizing China, the testing of hypersonic missiles, the outrageous flaunting by China of target practice against mock-ups of our Navy warships.
That's incredible. That one blew me away, Claudia. I'm just curious, to what end? Where do they see this going? Now, some have said that there's not an imminent invasion of Taiwan, but there could be an invasion of some of the islands around Taiwan, supposedly administered by Taiwan. What do you think we would do if they did that?
I know what we'd better do, which is we'd better fight. We'd better stand up to them. We cannot let them do that. It won't stop there at all. What will we do? That's a huge and rather terrifying question at the moment, especially after the disastrous retreat from Afghanistan, with President Biden saying, there'll be no scenes like Saigon, and then it actually played out as, to my mind, worse. Sent a terrible message. We're seeing an administration that right now is downplaying the China threat. They technically tick the boxes, but everything is focused on blowout spending in the United States and turning us into this federally dependent country for basically the socializing of America. And the China threat, which is the real serious and urgent threat, not the climate, not the economy, it's China. They're parading these missiles and weapons that they're building at great speed, modernizing. And Neil, while there is certainly an argument, and many have been making it, that China would like to achieve dominance without firing a shot, which would be quite bad enough if you look at how they rule, right. Very repressive. I think that when a dictator builds up that kind of military power, he's under a certain amount of pressure at home to use it. He's displayed all this for what are basically pretty unhappy people. I mean, China's not filled with joyous people. That's its propaganda. It's filled with people who've been locked down in ways we can't even begin to imagine over things like the coronavirus for the last 2 years. And the country that brought us Tiananmen in 1989 is destroying the freedoms of Hong Kong utterly right now, is threatening the democracy on Taiwan, and has been subverting, pilfering, and threatening us for some time now. So I think, it's not a pleasant thought, but it's one I really hope this Biden administration truly faces up to. We need to be building up our military capacity. We need to be sending very strong signals of resolve that we will not tolerate China moving one more inch in the direction of grabbing territory, aggression toward Taiwan, any of this. But I'm not seeing that.
Your worry is well grounded. Thank you very much, Claudia. We'll have a lot more after this, including